This podcast is sponsored by Teens and Youth in Leadership, TYIL Africa, an organization that is committed to raising generations of young leaders across Africa. Our programs include leadership education, leadership fellowship, research training, webinars, and conferences. Stay informed of our programs by following us on LinkedIn at TYIL and at TYIL Africa on Instagram.
Hello, you're welcome to the Future of Leadership podcast, where we discuss about issues related to leadership and, in fact, youth leadership. My name is Israel Oyedare, and I'm the host of this podcast. I'm also the founder of Teens and Youth in Leadership, popularly known as TYIL, an organization focused on youth leadership development. Through this podcast, you will learn from seasoned professionals and leadership scholars on their thoughts and perspectives on youth leadership. Stay tuned. Many of his students love to call him Trey, and that's because he is very approachable. Today I have with me Dr. Tremanye Waller, the Director of Graduate Students Program at Virginia Tech College of Engineering. Thank you so much, Trey, for accepting to be with me on this podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation, the opportunity to be here today.
Yeah, so I have known you for quite a while, and one thing I know about you is your passion for young people, particularly in the area of education and academics. What inspires you to do that?
So first, let me begin by saying I had many individuals that believed in me and invested in me. Investing in the youth is like planting seeds in a garden. You have to nurture them today and hope and pray that everything blossoms in tomorrow's leaders, inventors, and change makers. The energy that we put forth, the creativity that we put forth, and the potential that these young people have are incredible and inspiring. So for me, it is their fresh perspectives and their bold ideas that they want to push boundaries and help us drive progress in ways that can enrich our world. Supporting the youth isn't just about benefiting them, it's about an investment in a collective future. So for me, it's trying to foster society that could be inclusive and vibrant. So in essence, and what I'm trying to say here is that we need the belief in these young people and empower the youth in a way that they can do it right. Essentially, if we do this, we are building a better tomorrow for all of us. That's the reason why I continue to push forth in investing in the youth.
That's a very comprehensive response. It shows that, what you're doing is from a side of deep passion, but not just passion, purpose, a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Has there been any time where you feel the need to stop doing what you're doing? And what was your driving force?
So my driving force was the fact that we didn't have a lot to do as teenagers when I was growing up. And once I got older and realized I had potential and people saw the good in me, they wanted to invest in that good. And I think it was because I was curious and I didn't mind asking questions. And sometimes I knew the answers, but not all the time. But being able to ask for help when I know that I needed help, and those people were there to supply that help for me. I can remember a lot of teachers that invested after school hours to make sure that I was doing my academics as well as being involved with many different types of programs. There was a cost to it, and not all the time did I have money to participate. And some of these people gave their resources in order for me to be a part of. They were investing in me, and I don't know if all of them know what I've done thus far, but the opportunity for them to pour into me has been instrumental, and I don't take it for granted. I'm
Mm,
very grateful and thankful that those people who didn't give up on me decided to invest in me.
mm. That's very interesting. So, how would you define leadership in the context of youth? How do you think youth of this age should perceive leadership opportunities?
There are a lot of things that I can say to this, but I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. We need to provide experiential learning opportunities, and it needs to be aligned with passion and purpose. I'm going to
Mm,
go back to the experiential learning. As a teenager, they need to be exploring, experimenting, and learning through those experiences. The
mm,
more hands on approach we take with these young people, I believe we are giving them value. We're
mm,
taking a risk and embracing failure. I believe in taking things apart and trying to put it back together, because not everything comes easy for every single person. So the academic classroom is one aspect of a person, but
mm,
why not provide these opportunities beyond the classroom?
mm,
Um, Embracing failure as a stepping stone to success. Not everything is going to be successful, but we need to invest in failure so that they can seek the new opportunities for growth. This mindset helped shape me as a young leader by emphasizing the importance of flexibility, adaptability, and having a growth mindset in navigating challenges and driving the progress. Not everything is done overnight. Success is not overnight. One of the things I remember a teacher saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. Therefore, it takes time to build. With that, that leads to passion and purpose. If students, young people can discover their passion and interest and values, that will help guide them throughout their leadership journey. Whether it's advocating for a cause or pursuing some type of endeavor or striving for academic excellence, these young people can have a sense of purpose and drive for making a positive impact in the world. I know that I had a balance between academics and getting involved with hands on activities. I was a strong student, but I lacked a lot of other resources. But all the people that saw me poured into me so that I could eventually help impact the world. This helped shape my leadership ideology. And I think the other things that I think helped was people being authentic, having
mm.
integrity, and inspiring others, which could lead to affecting meaningful change.
Wow. Wow. If we decide to end at this stage, I know that we have gotten enough nuggets, enough information. You mentioned something about being able to handle failure. And I was going to ask about failure, but you already addressed that. Because if you look at the growing youth, the youth of this age, we would see that many of them do not understand what it is to actually experience failure and how to handle failure. And that is why we need such mentorship from adult leaders like yourself to put us through that process of handling failures. Do you want to share some things about failure? Maybe how do you think adult leaders can help youth in handling failures?
Absolutely. You don't have to give everybody everything in order to be successful. That's one of the things I learned from an early age. There were a lot of things that we didn't have. Therefore, we had to go outside to build and experiment with things. So I came from very humble beginnings, but that didn't stop the imagination. When it came to activities and academics, I was encouraged that I could learn the information. Yes, it was hard. Yes, I did not get 100 on the test. Yes, I might have failed the test. But guess what? There are a lot of things out in this world that you can take and learn from. One of the conversations I had with my nephew is trying how to translate some of these things from an academic setting to the things that he's experiencing. And we had a very interesting conversation around Shakespeare and Drake and how they relate. Even though he's bored in his class with Shakespeare, I try to translate Shakespeare to the Drake music and how relevant the information that Drake is telling you
Mm,
what Shakespeare did. And taking that a step further to creating opportunities. Sometimes you are a poet. Sometimes you have something that's valid and important. Learning about one's voice in that failure process is so critical. So if you can build the self-advocacy piece to say, okay, if I do fail, I don't have to stay there, but I
mm,
can get up and move forward. And that
mm,
there are people out there that will invest in you. It may not be as clear as you want it, but to ask for help and let people help you get where you need to go.
mm. Thank you so much. Thank you. My next question has to do with, globalization, technological advancement. And we know that, recently we have experienced technological advancements that, offers opportunities for youth to express their leadership potential. How do you think, or why do you think youth are in a unique position to express, their leadership potential in this age, in this era?
There's so many points just in that statement alone, or your question alone. And I
Mm,
think it is really trying to get our students to think innovatively. The open-mindedness of our students will help us embrace the change that our older generation has not been able to do. That mindset will help generate new interventions, innovative solutions to complex problems. I think leveraging technology is something that remains very creative in different ways for these students because they've had a computer at their hand from day one of being born, pretty much. And it's a global connectivity where technology is around the world. So the more we can explore the internet and social media to help us uplift our young people on different platforms, then people can connect, collaborate, and exchange ideas. And this will allow more of a diverse background from different cultures to fostering understanding. One of the things my grandmother always said, you need to be empathetic and learn to collaborate with others. And that's so vital where we need our youth to really come together with those three forces of understanding, empathy, and collaborating. That will set a global scale for us to be activists and to be advocates. This group of young people are changing so fast. And we have so many major issues that we can deal with, from climate change to social justice to human rights. These young people are willing to amplify these issues and their voices to bring across some type of grassroots movement to bring this meaningful change that we need. We need strong leaders to have these uh, points that I just stated, where understanding, empathy all come together so that we can hold people accountable. And that is a spirit that I think we need to really emphasize. These young folks, they're going to change this world for the good.
wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you made mention of, global problems like climate change issues. One of the things that I have seen, I have experienced is the fact that, youth are also at the forefront of, the fight against climate change. They have been very actively involved with advocacy and making sure that they do their quota. However, largely there is little or no support from adult leaders in that regard, in creating space for youth to explore. in creating space for youth to actually lead. How do you think older leaders can support, either in politics, in education, in the media? How do you think they can support and create the path for youth to lead?
I think I stated earlier, it's not about them, it's about us. It is about how we as older leaders can support and create paths for youth. And we can do that through a lot of channels. One, we need good mentorship and guidance. A lot of people don't have people pouring into them. So, us older leaders who are doing and carrying the light need to pass the light and torch on to the young folks so that they feel empowered and that we are delegating to them opportunities to make decisions. It cannot be an isolation thing. It has to be where it's bringing them to the table, collectively thinking about how we embed them in the process. It is creating and fostering an inclusive environment. A lot of times we think we know, but we got to get our silo effect and bring others to the table. And that's other older leaders to make sure that they are thinking about what the future looks like, facilitating networking opportunities with these young people. How do you become? By networking, by collaborating, by talking, by learning, developing a growth mindset, and recognizing and supporting the achievements of these young people. We cannot do it once every 10 years, once every 15 years. It needs to be something that's embedded. And we got to find ways to recognize, and recognition doesn't have to be a plaque. The recognition could be the fact that you are mentoring these young people, that you're taking time out of your busy schedule to create the paths for these young people. By working together across generations, we older leaders can really work with the talent and energy that these young people are bringing
Mm,
to help us address some of the complex challenges that drive positive change in our society.
mm,
I've listed a lot, and I didn't mean to ramble too much, but it can be done. Older leaders have to think about what the future looks like and,
mm.
and start embedding the youth in our institutions, our academic systems, within our programs and organizations.
Hmm. Wow. So profound. One thing you would know about Trey is the fact that he lives a life of purpose, of continuously paving the way for youth and of continuously, providing opportunities for youth and students. Personally, I know that, Trey is in the academic line, and when you speak to Trey, the first few lines you will hear is you need to go for your doctorate degree. And he's consistently organizing programs that would inspire students to think ahead of the future in terms of their potentials. If you haven't heard much, if you haven't known much about Trey, you should follow him on LinkedIn because you will definitely see how he makes impact. So this is not just theory, this is practical. This is practical, and this is, where we are hoping to attain, in terms of adult youth mentorship. So thank you so much, Trey, for your words of wisdom. We have really had a nice time learning from you today, and I really appreciate you for your time as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. Anytime you want, please let me know. I'll be there.
Thank you very much. So do you have any closing sentence to say to youth who are in leadership positions or those who are aspiring to be leaders or those who haven't yet even discovered their leadership potentials? Where I was going to mention that, particularly in terms of mindsets, I would like you to talk about mindset before you leave.
Absolutely. I go back to growing up, and one of the mindsets that I can recall was I always had well, this is not going to happen. Well, won't happen for me. But my family always encouraged me to think differently in a way that if you want it, you got to go get it. And one of the things that I believe in telling people is that if it is to be, then it is up to me. And I say that in a collective way because we have to start bringing people to the table in order for it to change, whether that's the older leaders or the younger leaders that are coming up. But we have to stay in the race in order to see the prize in which we are trying to bring about change. So, in my closing, I think it says it best. If it's to be, then it's up to me. I got to make sure that we're thinking collectively, we're doing things from an understanding that we are always trying to be empathetic and that we are thinking about the collective. We are wanting to make this world a better place.
Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you for listening to the Future of Leadership podcast today. If you are here to kindly share, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us across our social media platforms, including Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, all at TYIL. See you in the next episode.